Why even bother? Why do we travel together? Why do we bother to have a community? Why do we do the things that we do in Star Trading?
Because you could just put a training course out there and sell that and teach people how to trade. But instead, you've got hundreds of people messaging you all the time.
All the time.
In a community, which is a whole other part of your Star Trading business, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I never ever wanted to set up just a course. It was never in my frame of reference to do just that. So I wanted to do something that could give that sense of community, that sense of mission to other people as well as myself. What I wanted to do was help people. Always had been. Always wanted to do that, and I've just kind of started to put a bit more meat on that bone of what that looks like, which is why my personal mission statement and the mission statement right now of Star Trading is to help 1 million families live with less stress and more fun. Hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Star Trading Podcast with me, Lewis.
And me, Sophie.
And today we're going to be talking about why even bother? Why do we travel together? Why do we bother to have a community? Why do we do the things that we do in Star Trading?
Yes, because you could just put a training course out there
Yeah.
and sell that and teach people how to trade. But instead, you've got hundreds of people messaging you all the time.
All the time.
In a community, which is a whole other part of your Star Trading business, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why did you develop that?
Well, first of all, those of you who mess me all the time, you know who you are, and I'm fine with it. I love you all. So yeah, I could have just put a course out there. I could have just made money from the business that way. Of course I could, but that's not really me. And I think I'm going to answer this in a slightly deeper way than I was expecting to. But I'm prone to feeling lonely and isolated. Like that's just a bit of my nature. I very much like to be around people. I mean, as much as I love people, I also need a lot of alone time. And anyone who knows Myers-Briggs, my Myers-Briggs type needs the most alone time, even though we're extroverts. So I think for me, I never ever wanted to set up just a course. It was never in my frame of reference to do just that. I was part of, when I first started, a trading community. Not quite like Star Trading is. Like, we very much are a community. They were a group of people, which there's very much a difference between a group of people and a community. And I think we very much are a community. So that's partly why I've always wanted to do trips together. When we do social events, we meet up at least 4 times a year. The summer party, if we ever get a summer this year, we're doing it at my house because I want to welcome people into my world, into my life, into what we're about. And a lot of people don't do that. And maybe it comes from growing up in church and being part of a community there. And so then when I stepped away from the church, for all reasons, which if you're starting to get my newer emails, you'll be hearing about and talking about this stuff a bit more and being a lot more open and honest about my journey and experience in life, not just with trading, then when I grew up in church, I had that community and I loved it. I absolutely loved being part of a group of people, being on a mission, like trying to achieve stuff, wanting to change the world for the better. And I just realised after a couple of years of not being in the church that was still who I was, but I didn't have it anymore. So I wanted to do something that could create that again and could give that sense of community, that sense of mission to other people as well as myself. And it was from, I think, that Star Trading was born. And when I sat in a coffee shop at the start of the year, like I do every year to kind of set my goals, set my intention, a few years ago when I did this, I realised that what I wanted to do was help people. Always had been, always wanted to do that. And I've just kind of started to put a bit more meat on that bone of what that looks like, which is why my personal mission statement and the mission statement right now of Star Trading is to help 1 million families live with less stress and more fun through financial empowerment and education, which is a big old goal.
It's a great mission.
Yeah, and you cannot achieve a mission like that on your own. You can't. You need a community, you need a team, you need support, you need help, you need social media in today's age. So please like, follow and subscribe. That'd be lovely. And share.
Join us.
Yeah,
Join the community.
Just join the community, that as well, yeah. And so it's always been a community element. And I think one of the reasons why when we do Forex in 5, people love it, so our 5-night challenge, is because they see that we are what we say we are,
Yes.
and they become part of a community, albeit for that week, and then longer if they decide to continue with us in terms of training and mentorship. So yeah, and that community is accessible whether people have invested £30,000 to work with me one-on-one, or whether they've invested £30 to do 4X and 5. Last season we talked about £20 to do 4X and 5, but inflation has kicked in, so it's now £30. So yeah, we very much are a community because of, I suppose, me being the founder of Star Trading, and that's always something I've wanted to have, and therefore we attract really, really nice people, such as yourself.
Woohoo! So how did you build the community?
Oh God.
Has it always been what it is, or has it changed?
So when we first started, the community was less formal, and I don't mean formal in the sense of suit and tie. I mean, we weren't an organised community. We were an online Instagram community of probably about, 5 people, then 10 people, then 20 people, then it obviously grows. And we didn't have Discord. We ended up using Telegram, which was a bit rubbish. And by the way, everybody, if you're looking at me or chatting to me on Telegram, it's not me, because I'm not on Telegram anymore. So that's another imposter. I get imposter syndrome. How can they not? It makes no sense to me. So so we started like that. We only had a course. I launched Star Trading as a course before I'd finished it. So I then launched it as a course. People were buying the course, like, what's going on? And then people asked me if I would mentor them. So I started mentoring them, and then we just kind of grew from word of mouth and people getting results and sharing their results, and that's how we kind of started. And then because we became bigger, we needed to put more infrastructure in, and there's a lot of chat when we were on Telegram going on, and important stuff was getting missed for people. So we upgraded our internal systems to Discord, where we can split out conversations, so it's far less likely that things get lost. And if people come in late and there's like 10, 15, 20 messages, whatever it might be, they can just go to the important channel and find the important stuff. So we've just kind of grown from there. And then a lot of the reason why I got into trading was so I could travel. A lot of people want to travel, they want income which isn't based on a geographical location, and so I started putting together a travel trip, and our first one was South Africa. And the reason it was South Africa is because I love South Africa. I've been there loads. We've got quite a few students in South Africa as well, and so I pulled together like a trip of all my favourite places, and we just went for it. And there was about 24, 25 of us that went over, traded while we were there, made money while we were there, had a great time, learnt stuff, went over trading things together. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, and that brings a community together as well.
Yeah. If you go on holiday together, you do bond in a different way than if you don't go on holiday together. I don't know what the alternative was. And that's why we've got just on South Africa, we've got Morocco coming up this year in October. We've got Rio coming up in February next year. And we don't know what we're going to do for October next year. I've got a few ideas.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm feeling Italy though.
Yeah?
Although I am also feeling Mykonos. Would also be
Yes.
quite cool.
Is it windy there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you want the wind because
Okay.
it cools things down.
Okay.
And it is quite hot.
It looks beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Right,
Absolutely
let's do
stunning. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's why we kind of do those bits and pieces.
Yeah. And what's interesting about the community is that people finish the training, but they stay in the community, don't they? For lots of different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really nice.
And I think, again, trading, if you look at it as a standalone thing, it can be very isolating. It can be very lonely. It is the beauty of it is the fact it's just you and the chart. So like we talked about this in last season, like if you do property, it's not just you and a house. It's you, the builder, the plumber, the electrician, the tenants, especially with HMOs. You've got multiple tenants in there, the letting agent, the mortgage broker, the lender, whoever else it may be, like all these different people that you've got to engage with and hope that they do their job properly. And 9 times out of 10, they don't. Whereas with you and the market, in trading, that's all it is. You've got way more control, you've got way more freedom, you've got way more ability to do the things you want to do, but you don't have people interaction. And that completely suits some people. We teach people who are very, very introverted. They're not bothered about getting to know anybody in the community. They just want to do their thing, learn the skill, and then carry on with their life. Brilliant, fantastic. But for those of us who want a community, we want to be around like-minded people, because Star Trading, we get joined together because of trading, but that's not why we stay together. We're on similar missions. We like people. We want to help people. We're family orientated. We want to get more time for ourselves so we can spend it with our family. that's what we're about. We're about improving ourselves in multiple different ways, not just improving our bank account, which if you're a good trader will also happen. But the lessons you learn as a trader are so far reaching beyond just you as an individual.
Yeah, and you've built it so that newbies can ask questions, experienced people can answer them. It's all like a continuous loop. And it's quite instant. Like the community is so big now that if someone has a question about a trade, they can screenshot it, put it to the group and say, what does everyone think about that? And you get really nice feedback on it.
Yeah. And we did that intentionally. Even when we were smaller, I wouldn't jump in with the answers straight away. And again, that comes back to our ethos of empowerment, because like you said, people who are further on in their journey can now answer questions, and that, guess what, makes them feel really good, makes them feel like they're contributing, makes them feel part of something. And that is a brilliant thing and exactly what I want. And I think my history in the church taught me that, it's going to sound weird, but multi-generational engagement is fantastic. And we do have people, yes, in multiple generations, but within trading, multiple generations in the sense of different stages of their trading journey. So you, for example, will answer someone's question with way more remembrance and understanding of how you felt in that situation. Whereas for me, I was asking that question 10 years ago. So it was a long time ago. So yes, I can answer the question, but I'm in a completely different realm of understanding now, which may not always be helpful for me to answer. I mean, it normally is, because I'm quite good at flipping back. I don't know. Anyway, I'm quite good at doing that role, because obviously that's what I do. But it does allow people to engage in a really, really helpful way. And that's why we don't do FAQs. We do not have a frequently asked questions within Star Trading, because if you've got a question, like you said, you can ask it in the group and you can get an answer. And what that does is it fosters and nurtures this relationship between us all as a community, versus separate, isolated, I'm just going to read this thing and then it's going to be fine. And you read a frequently asked question, may answer your question in one way, but it may not be contextualized to what you're actually asking. And then what if you have a follow-on question from that? It just doesn't work for me. Whereas having the community be this part of the support structure as well as the mentees, and be the frequently asked questions section, just does a really good job of empowering and building relationship.
100%. And the other thing you do is live market analysis.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
So we do live market analysis because I'm going to do it anyway for myself. So why not share it with our community? And we do it in a particular way, again, because of empowerment, because of learning. It helps people see what they should be seeing without telling them exactly what to trade and how to trade it. So I do shy away from saying, I'm going to trade this. And that's why I don't share a lot of my trades in the community, because I don't want people just to copy me. That's the opposite of what we want to do. So when I go through the markets, on a Wednesday, Josh does it on a Wednesday, I do it on a Saturday, we are analysing to see where there's potential opportunity. And if our students have learnt the system and the strategy, they'll know exactly what they're looking for anyway. So it's a really good way of sense checking what you're looking at. And then people can question me, and I don't get it right 100% of the time, maybe 95% of the time I'm right, but 5% of the time I might have missed something for whatever reason, and then people can raise that question and be like, oh yeah, you're right, there is actually a trend here, or oh yeah, that is setting up for a reversal. It's like, yeah, actually that is consolidating quite nicely. Or they can ask a question thinking I've missed something, and I'll be able to give greater context to why it's not a trade for me, which they still may be happy to take. And that's where you get the beauty of the fluctuating nature of what one trader is happy with and what another one isn't happy with, which I think frustrates some people.
Yes.
Because there is a blend of art form and science, and you can bend and tweak the rules if you want to. Better not to, but you can if you want to.
Yeah, I think it is amazing to have that community, because when you learn something new, the people around you, your family and friends, might not get it at all. But you've got this community where you can see there's questions and answers going. You can see live market analysis. You can see there's trades to be taken every single week. And so it keeps you on that consistency wheel, which I think is super important.
Yeah. Again, to steal from the church, they say, if you want to be a giant slayer, hang out with giant slayers. And they also say, if you want to be on fire, so be passionate and all of that sort of stuff, hang out with people on fire. or hang out in the fire. So the community is the fireplace,
Yeah.
which keeps you warm, keeps you focused, keeps you going after the thing you want to go after. And so we do notice if people drop out of that community too soon, they won't continue getting their trading to where they could get it. They might continue trading profitably and safely and all of that stuff, but they wouldn't necessarily get to where they could get to. So sometimes people drop out a little bit too early, which is totally their choice. We're not control freaks or anything like that. We just are there to help people, and we know the more they stay with us and stay around us and come to our stuff, the better progress they will make. Yeah.
There you are.
There you are.
It's got to be done.
So that's why we have a community.
Love it.
I think it's time for a snack.
But I've got a question
Oh,
first.
no.
I've got a listener's question.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good.
So, we've got a question from Simon.
Okay.
You ready?
The wonderful Simon.
Hi, Star Trading. This is my husband, Simon, by the way.
I wonder what he is today.
I have no idea. I've been given the seal of approval for pullbacks
Yeah.
and haven't had great results on my first few live trades.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm struggling to find reversals for my back testing, and they don't seem to give me good results. I'm in a valley of despair
Valley of Despair.
with trading, and my motivation and commitment are slipping. What can I do to get my trading mojo back?
Brilliant question. So I think, as we were talking about the other day, what often happens when people get their seal of approval, they get super keen and super excited, and they maybe start taking trades that they shouldn't take. So first thing we always have to do is pause and analyze and assess. So go back over those trades that you've taken and think with a really critical eye, without the emotion involved, should I have taken this trade? Does it truly meet the criteria? If it does, and that you still would have taken those trades, then we have to remember that is also part of the process. We don't win every single time. Over the past couple of months, with pullbacks particularly, there's not been a lot of pullbacks. There just hasn't. And we know that these strategies go through cycles in terms of when they are there, when they aren't there. And again, lean on the data. So what does the data say? What does the data tell us? And the frustrating thing about going live is you can't control what the market's going to do. So again, control the input. You can't control the output. So if there's no trades being given by the market when you go live, what we tend to see is people will find trades that aren't there. So speak to your coach, speak to your mentor, go through those trades that you've taken together so you've got someone else's view on it rather than just your own, and then just keep trusting the process and keep moving forward with it, because we can't guarantee that you're going to have a winner when you go live. So what we can control though is, are we taking good quality trades? So let's first of all check that and make sure they are good quality trades. If they're not, then it's part of that process of feeling like you've mastered it. Then you go live and it doesn't feel like it did before, because it is a different process. Not different process, but different feeling, different experience. And then we'll take it from there. And you do tend to find that there's a dip, and then you start to grow again, and you master things at a deeper level. And that's when you start to see the results come.
Nice. Great answer.
Thank you very much.
Now you may have a snack.
Now I may have a snack. So I think it's time for snack magic.
Let's do it.
So snack in 3, 2, 1. What have we got here? It's your turn to go first, I think. I don't think it really matters the order
Okay,
of who
I'm
goes
going
first.
for it. Oh, what a treat.
What a treat. What
You're
have you
doing
got?
well this season. I've got a bag of Haribo Tang Fast-Sticks.
Yay!
Gonna be so hyper after this. Would you like a cherry?
Yes, please.
You can't go wrong with Haribo.
You can't. But these are maybe slightly sour,
Yeah,
but hopefully not as much as those toxic things I gave you last time.
that literally made me cry. You remember?
Not too tangy.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're
Would you
welcome.
like to open yours?
Out of 10?
I'll go 8.
That's high for Haribo.
Wow. It's not something disgusting.
Now I'm scared. So what have I got? Oh!
Oh, what have you got?
I have got some form of baked treat. It's 2 mini Yum Yums. Are these also called Twinkies in other things? Is that a
No.
different
Are they?
thing? I don't know. A Twinkie might be a different thing.
Isn't a Twinkie like a really rank American roll thing?
Maybe. But the good thing about there being 2 of these is we can each have
You
one.
can. It's M&S, darling.
It's M&S, darling. There you go. Oh, let me take one as well. You might need to help me separate. Oh, there we go. Got
What
it.
is a yum yum?
Just a baked thing.
Square
It's
donut
very
thing.
sugary. You know when it's like wet sugary? I love a bit of wet sugar. Right. It's basically like a donut, isn't it? But with no jam. I like it though.
I like it.
What's not to like? It tastes a bit like sugared eggy bread.
Yeah.
Delicious.
How many marks out of 10?
9. It's a good one. It's tasty. So, that's the end of this episode. Oh, and the other great thing about community, snacks. There we go. Yeah, wouldn't have this without that. So thank you all for joining us. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye.